She tested my loyalty by having her best friend try to seduce me over text. I politely declined. Then I showed my fiancée the texts, saying I passed. Her smirk vanished when I showed her the rest of the texts, the ones where her friend admitted she was told to do it. I, 30 male, am, or rather was, engaged to Fiona, 28. We were 6 months out from the wedding. I'm an IT project manager, so my entire brain is wired for logic, timelines, and spotting dependencies. Fiona, she's in marketing. She's all about a narrative. I thought our narratives were aligned. Spoiler. They were not. Our relationship was good. Or, good. We lived together in my condo. I own it. She moved in about a year ago. We were deep in wedding planning. The normal stress was there, arguing about embossed napkins, her mother wanting to add 50 random cousins to the guest list. Standard stuff. Fiona has always been a little insecure. She'd make jokes that weren't really jokes. Adam, you're too friendly with that barista. Does she always give you extra phone? You liked that model's picture on Instagram? Why? I always just brushed it off. Babe, it's just coffee. Babe, I was scrolling, it means nothing. I figured it was pre-wedding jitters. Her best friend is Beth, 28. They are a unit, joined at the hip. They've known each other since college and share one brain. Beth is, allowed, always in the middle of some drama. I was friendly with her for Fiona's sake, but I never fully trusted her. Last Tuesday, I'm on my couch, deep in a technical doc for work, and my phone buzzes. A text from Beth. Hey you. Working hard? I thought it was weird. I'm not hey you friends with Beth. Hey Beth? Yeah, just wrapping up a project. What's up? Just so bored. Fiona's at her yoga class. I was just thinking, you're always so nice. Thanks? You okay? I am now. Fiona is a very lucky woman. Sometimes I wonder, does she really appreciate what she has? My stomach just dropped. This is not a bored text. This is a what the hell text. My first thought wasn't even she's hitting on me. My first thought was this is a trap. But why? I didn't reply for a minute. I'm logical. I need data. If I just ignore it, it disappears, and I'm left wondering. If I tell Fiona, Beth denies it, and I look like a liar. I had to get her to commit. I'm not sure what you mean, Beth. I think we have a great relationship. Oh, I'm sure. But, just hypothetically, if you ever felt like you weren't satisfied, I just think you're really hot, and I'm a lot more fun than she is. Just saying, our secret. It wasn't explicit, but it was a picture of her in her pajamas, making a duck face. It was pathetic and infuriating. I had her. I politely declined. Beth, I'm going to be very clear. I love Fiona. I'm going to marry her. This conversation is wildly inappropriate, and it needs to stop. I'm going to pretend this didn't happen for Fiona's sake, but don't ever text me like this again. I figured that was that. I felt sick. My fiancé's best friend. I had to tell Fiona, but I was dreading it. Then, about 20 minutes later, my phone buzzed again. Okay, you're right. Sorry. Beth, God, I feel so stupid. Look, can I be honest? Oh, here it comes, the backpedal. You probably should be. Fiona made me do it. She's been freaking out, saying you're too perfect and that she's worried you're too good at hiding things. She wanted me to test you. I told her it was a crazy idea. Please, Adam, don't tell her I told you, she'll kill me. She's really insecure. Be nice to her. I just stared at the screen. The anger I felt was cold. It wasn't hot rage, it was a sudden, chilling clarity. This wasn't a betrayal by Beth. This was a calculated, manipulative game by Fiona. She tested me, like a piece of lab equipment. I sat there for an hour, just processing. The jokes about the barista, the Instagram likes, it wasn't jitters. It was a complete lack of trust. And she was so cowardly she made her little sidekick do the dirty work. Fiona came home an hour later, all smiles, smelling like lavender from her yoga mat. Hey baby, how was work? She said, kissing my cheek. It was fine, I said, keeping my voice perfectly level. We need to talk about something though. Her face tightened. Just a little. Oh. What's up? I pulled out my phone. I got some really weird text tonight from Beth. I showed her the first part of the conversation. Beth's advances, the picture, my refusal. I watched her face. She tried to look horrified. Oh my God, Adam. I can't believe her. Is she drunk? I'm gonna call her right now. That snake. She was a good actress, I'll give her that. But I knew. Don't bother calling her, I said. She paused, hand halfway to her own phone. What? Why not? She needs to be held accountable. And then she couldn't help it. A little smirk played on her lips. Wow, though, you really told her off. That's really good, Adam. You passed. Passed? I asked, my voice still quiet. A little loyalty test, she said, trying to laugh it off like it was a cute joke. Oh, don't look at me like that. I knew you would. I had to be sure. Beth is always saying men can't be trusted. I just wanted to prove her wrong, and you did. I'm so proud of you. She leaned in to kiss me. I held up my hand. A test, I repeated. Wow, I'm flattered. Don't be mad, she said, her tone shifting to a pout. It was just a silly girl thing. Well, I said, looking her dead in the eye. It's funny you say that, because I don't think Beth was the one who failed the test. Her smirk vanished. What are you talking about? I held up my phone again, and I scrolled down. You're right, I said. Beth was honest. I watched the color drain from her face as she read the texts. Beth, Fiona made me do it. She's been freaking out. She wanted me to test you. Please, Adam, don't tell her I told you. She'll kill me. Fiona just stood there, silent. Her face was white. The smirk was gone, replaced by the slack-jawed panic of someone whose entire narrative just imploded. So, I said, standing up from the couch, we should probably talk about this silly girl thing and about our wedding. Update 1. It's been 2 weeks. I'm exhausted. The fallout from the text was not what I expected. Fiona's speechless phase lasted about 10 seconds. Then the screaming started. But it wasn't apologizing. It was rage. You trapped me, she screamed. You manipulated Beth. You backed her into a corner to get her to say that. You were supposed to just pass and delete it. Why are you trying to ruin everything? I was just stunned. I'm ruining it? Fiona, you had your best friend try to seduce me. You orchestrated a fake infidelity attempt. How do you not see how twisted that is? Oh, grow up, Adam, she shot back. It's not a big deal. Everyone does this. How else am I supposed to know you're not lying? You're the one who was sneaky, texting her behind my back to get her to confess. You're the monster here. Darvo. Straight from the textbook. She was genuinely 100% furious that her test had been discovered. I was done. The love I felt, it just evaporated. It turned into this cold, hard pit in my stomach. Get your things, Fiona, I said. What? No, we are not breaking up over this. I am not letting you break up with me over this. I am. We're done. I cannot marry a person who thinks this is okay. I can't even date a person who thinks this is okay. The wedding is off. Get your stuff. I'll stay at a friend's tonight. I grabbed my keys and left. She was still screaming. The next day, the real battle began. The wedding. Here's the financial layout. I'm a planner. My parents, also planners, were incredibly generous. They put down the $20,000 non-refundable deposit on the venue. That was their gift. Fiona's parents, Mark and Susan, had paid for her dress, $6,000, and the florist, $4,000. The ring, I bought myself. It was $12,000, and I paid for it in cash from my savings. I called my parents and told them. They were horrified, then angry, then supportive. They accepted. The $20,000 was gone. Consider it the cheapest divorce you'll ever get, my dad said. I assumed Fiona would tell her parents. She didn't. Instead, I got a call from her mother, Susan, and she was crying. Susan, Adam, what is going on? Fiona is here. She's an absolute wreck. She said you were inappropriate with Beth, and when she confronted you flew into a rage and canceled the wedding. Adam, she said you're holding her things hostage. What did you do? My blood ran cold. They'd pivoted. I was now the villain. The narrative was set. Adam harassed Beth, and when caught, he burned the whole relationship down out of spite. This was their dirty trick. No social media blast, just a quiet, insidious whisper campaign to our families and friends. They were trying to frame me as unstable and aggressive. Susan, I said, my voice shaking a little from pure rage, that is the opposite of what happened. I need to see you and Mark. In person. Can you meet me for coffee? Without Fiona. There was a pause. She's very distraught, Adam. I know, and I promise you by the time we're done talking, you will be too. Please, I wouldn't ask if it wasn't the most important thing. We met at a coffee shop. I brought my phone. I was so nervous my hands were trembling. What if they didn't believe me? What if they took her side no matter what? Okay, Adam, Mark said, his arms crossed. He's a tough guy. Explain yourself. You've broken my daughter's heart. I didn't say a word. I just put my phone on the table and opened the text thread. This is from Beth, I said. Please read the entire thing, from the top, including the timestamps. I watched them. Susan put her hand over her mouth. Mark's face went from angry to confused to a deep, dark red. He scrolled. He read Beth's advances. He read my refusal. And then he read Beth's confession. Fiona made me do it. He scrolled back and forth. He read it again. Susan started to cry, but for real this time. Oh, Mark, she wouldn't. She did, Mark said. His voice was gravel. He looked up at me and I didn't see anger at me anymore. I saw a profound, bottomless humiliation. She lied to us, he said. She told us you. I know what she told you, I said. And now you know the truth. I am so sorry. I loved her, but I can't marry her. The wedding is off. I've already told my parents they've lost their deposit. Susan whispered. This is so shameful. I left them there. I had done what I had to do. The fallout was immediate. Fiona, apparently, got the call of a lifetime from her father. She didn't come back to the condo for her stuff. She sent Beth. Beth showed up, looking like she'd been crying for a week. Here for Fiona's things, she mumbled, not making eye contact. I packed them, I said, pointing to the boxes by the door. But I have a question for you, Beth. Why? She flinched. She's my best friend. So you'd help her sabotage her own relationship? You'd try to seduce her fiancé? What kind of friend is that? You don't understand, she flared up. You're the one who ruined it. You were supposed to just say no and delete it. We would have had a laugh, but you had to be a detective. You tricked me. You tricked Fiona. You're a psycho. The entitlement. Breathtaking. Get the boxes, Beth, and tell Fiona I want the ring back. It's on my desk where she left it. Go get it. She's keeping the ring, Beth snapped. You broke the engagement. You owe her. That $12,000 is for her emotional distress. Good luck getting it back. She grabbed the first box and stormed out. I watched her go. Emotional distress, right? I immediately called my lawyer. So, I have a quick question about conditional gifts. Final update. It's been 3 months. Welcome to the thrilling conclusion of my $12,000 small claims court case. It was exactly as tedious, bureaucratic, and emotionally draining as you'd expect. Fiona dug in her heels. She was not giving back that ring. Her argument, as Beth had so eloquently put it, was that I broke the engagement, therefore the ring was hers as compensation. My argument was that the engagement was broken for cause. The cause being that my fiancé was a manipulative puppet master who tested my loyalty by having her friend try to sleep with me. We both lawyered up. This was no longer a simple discussion. The dirty tricks escalated. Fiona's lawyer tried to paint me as controlling. They claimed I was financially abusive. I wasn't. I paid for the condo, she paid her car note, we split utilities. They claimed I was isolating her from her friends, i.e., I didn't like Beth. They were building a narrative that she had to test me because I was so secretive and intimidating. It was all garbage, but it was scary. It's that classic trap. The guy is always seen as the aggressor. I was genuinely worried a judge would just see a jilted woman and a cold, logical man and side with her. Fiona and Beth must have felt confident. They showed up to the hearing looking smug. Fiona was dressed like she was attending a charity luncheon. Beth was right behind her, her emotional support liar. My lawyer, a sharp woman named Miss Hayes, laid out our case. The text messages were presented, the full log. Miss Hayes established the ring as a conditional gift under state law. She argued the condition marriage was voided by Fiona when she orchestrated the fraudulent test, constituting a fundamental breach of trust that made the marriage impossible. Fiona's lawyer stood up. Your Honor, my client was a desperate woman in love. She had reason to believe Mr. My last name was unfaithful. Her friend, Miss Beth, was merely trying to help her get to the truth. Yes, it was misguided, but it was not malicious. Mr. My last name's extreme reaction, his investigation of Miss Beth, and his immediate cancellation of the wedding is, in itself, proof of his instability. He broke the contract. Then Beth took the stand, and she lied. She claimed I had been inappropriate with her in the past, that I'd made comments, that Fiona's test was based on her reports of my behavior. She claimed my texts to her, badgering her for a confession, were threatening. And she only said Fiona made her do it because she was scared. It was a complete fabrication. My word against hers. I could see the judge wavering. This was their big play. Miss Hayes stood up. "Your Honor, we have one more witness. We'd like to call Dylan Porter to the stand." Fiona and Beth both froze. I could see the color drain from Beth's face. Pure panic. Who is Dylan? Dylan is Beth's ex-boyfriend. From about 2 years ago. When this all went down, I couldn't shake one thought. This feels practiced, so I did what I do for a living. I ran a query. I looked through Beth's old social media, found the guy she dated before. I messaged him on a long shot. "Hey, weird question. Did Beth ever do anything strange involving your friends?" It took a week, but he messaged me back. "You have no idea." Now here he was in court. "Miss Hayes, Mr. Porter, can you describe your relationship with Miss Beth?" "We dated for about a year, broke up 2 years ago." "And can you describe the circumstances of that breakup?" "It was weird. She started a huge fight, accusing me of having a wandering eye. A week later, my best friend Kyle came to me. He was really uncomfortable. He showed me texts from Beth, hitting on him, saying I didn't appreciate her. Kyle shut her down immediately." "Miss Hayes, and what happened when you confronted Miss Beth?" "She swore up and down Kyle was lying, that he hit on her. She said I was a monster for believing him over her. She broke up with me for not trusting her." "Miss Hayes, did you ever find out the truth?" "Yeah. About 6 months later, she got drunk and told me. She said Fiona had convinced her I was too good to be true, and that she should test me to find the cracks. The test was to hit on my best friend. When I got mad at her, instead of laughing it off, Fiona told her I was controlling and guilty, and that she should dump me." The courtroom was silent. "Dylan, they did the same thing to you, man. I can't believe they did it again." Beth was visibly shaking. Fiona was staring holes into the table. Their entire credibility, their entire narrative was gone. This wasn't a mistake. It was a pattern. It was their MO. The judge didn't even take a recess. He looked at Fiona. "Ma'am, what I have here is a clear, documented pattern of malicious and manipulative behavior, orchestrated by you and executed by your friend. The cause for the dissolution of this engagement rests squarely and entirely on your shoulders. You did not act in good faith, you acted in malice. The gift of the ring is therefore void." He ruled in my favor. The ring had to be returned within 48 hours. Fiona's lawyer tried to argue for her to pay it in installments. The judge refused. The aftermath? Fiona had to give back the $12,000 ring. I sold it immediately. Her parents, Mark and Susan, are apparently forcing her to pay them back for the $10,000 they lost on the dress and flowers. They are humiliated and done with her antics. Beth, her reputation is radioactive. Dylan's testimony blew up their old friend group. She's seen as Fiona's toxic lackey and no one trusts her. And me? Well, I'm out $20,000. Or rather, my parents are. That deposit was gone forever. That's the realistic loss. That's the price I paid to find out who my fiancé really was. It sucks. I feel incredibly guilty about it, but my parents keep insisting it was the best money they ever spent. I'm in my condo. It's quiet. I've deleted every photo of her. I'm processing the fact that the woman I was going to marry was basically a high school mean girl in a grown woman's body. It's not a happy ending. I lost a year of my life, a ton of money, and my trust in people is pretty much shot. But I won. I used my brain, I gathered the data, and I exposed the truth. They thought they were playing chess, but they were playing checkers. And I just flipped the board. It's natural, it's real, and I'm free.